Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Twem, and today I'm going to talk about our memories of 2020, the IG shows that we had, and also I will talk about the updates that will be during 2021. And fortunately, I have more time to talk with you guys in the comments. So if you give me any comments, for sure, I will try to catch it. Usually during our conversations with the guests, it's not possible. Hi to everyone who are joining us. And as you know, during 2020, we experienced negative things, so many of them because of this COVID thing. But I try to focus on the positive parts. One of the positive parts was related to our interviews in 2020. We have started it in the middle of July. And recently I also asked you about from which categories you want to see more live shows. And you selected different options. And it was interesting that almost nobody have chosen scientists. So it shows that you had enough of us in the university and you don't want any lecture related to science most probably. Hey Nusha, welcome. And but I was also thinking because we had 2 interviews with Dr. Farid Holakouee. He's a famous psychologist, especially in Persian community. Most of people know him because of his father, Dr. Farhang Holakouee. We could say he's number 1 in psychology in Persian community. So he's also, Dr. Farid also is doing great, and he has PhD in clinical psychology. So we had 2 live shows, and many people gave me positive comments about those 2 live shows, and that's why I was thinking, you guys, you didn't choose science category. How is it possible? And that's why I had another question for you, and I asked you whether you like to have more interviews with psychologists during 2021, and 77% of you fortunately said yes, and I'm also excited about it. That's why it would be interesting to have more psychologists in our live shows. Dr. Farid for sure will be invited, and I'm sure he's very kind and he will accept to have more live shows together. And you guys please also leave in the comments whenever I talk about these things, maybe you want to add something. Nusha said yes. Yeah, to psychologists, I guess. Yeah. So there were different categories that we had during the last year, 2020. It's not over yet. We still have 2 more days, but we can start saying goodbye anyway. And in category of movies, we had so many live shows. For example, with Erin Cummings from the Spartacus TV series. Many of you gave positive feedback about it, and Erin has done many movies before. She's in many TV series and movies, and we talked about her experiences in that, and it was an interesting live show, one of my favorites. So if you like, you can take a look at that one. Since we are talking about Spartacus, in the last season of Spartacus, my favorite actor was Simon Merles, who played Marcus Crassus, and we had an interview with him. It was very interesting also. Mostly we talked about Spartacus in that live show for a long time. So if you're a fan of that TV series, you would appreciate it for sure. But with Erin Cummings, we talked about her various experiences in movie industry. I never heard about those questions before from her, so that's why it could be interesting for you if you are interested in her acting. And also, I talked with Deborah Twist. She's an actor. She is also a good writer and producer. You probably know her from Kick-Ass movie, and that one also was a fun talk, especially if you're interested about writers, to see, for example, what they are doing whenever they want to write a new movie script. So it would be interesting for you guys also to check it out. Also, I had an interview with Sheila Busuk. Sheila Busuk, she's very famous in Persian comedy, especially in theater. And many Persians already watch her theater. And these days, she's active in terms of directing and also producing movies. Recently, she also released a new one. It was a very interesting talk also with Sheila Busuk, very lovely person. And since I talked about Persian comedy, I also had a live show with Sam Golzari. It was very fun also. Nusha says writers are also welcome in your live. Of course. Writers are more than welcome in my live shows. And I will have more of them also in 2021. And Sam Golzari is not just an actor. He's also very active in music industry. So don't miss that live show, because that one was also very interesting. I also try to catch up your comments as much as possible. Fortunately, since I don't have any conversation with someone else now, I don't have any guest for today, so I could answer them fast. And I appreciate all of you guys who are joining us. So for Sam Golzari, as I said, it was very interesting, and he also gave me a good advice about movie industry, because I'm a writer myself. But as you know, my main job is related to university. I'm a university professor. I teach mathematics, computer science, but in movie industry, I'm active in writing. But the thing Sam Golzari told me was that if you are interested for your writings to be on screen, so in that case, maybe you start with thinking about your budget, about your location, then write something. Because my writings, they demand big budget, and whether it ever happens or not, we have no idea. That's why it was a good advice. If you're a writer yourself, I think you can also listen to this advice, and it will be useful. I also try to have my short films, but of course during Corona it's very time consuming, and actors couldn't collaborate face to face, so it's not that easy. So I really appreciate those guys who made it happen during Corona and made us new movies. Now I have even more appreciation for those guys. And we had also a fun conversation with comedian Tehran. It was very interesting talk. We talked both about serious and comedy stuff. And hi, Hot Pixel, welcome. Hey Galina, welcome everyone. Dobro Pajalova. And also we had a talk with Nima. Nima is a stand-up comedian. He posts many funny videos on his Instagram. He makes me laugh every day with his videos, so I also suggest you guys to check his videos as well. And also there are so many interesting movies on Netflix, as you guys know. Many people are talking about Netflix these days because there's a reason for that. And I also, during Corona, had this chance to watch more Netflix movies. And some of them I watched before Corona, to be fair. For example, before that, I watched Infinity Chamber. And Infinity Chamber, I got introduced to Cassandra Clark. And that's why it was very interesting for me to have an interview with her. Fortunately, she accepted, and we also had a fun conversation together. We mostly talked about Infinity Chamber. So if you are interested in that movie, so please check it out. Ya adin tut Ruski. Yes, I understand Paruski. That's correct. And what plane? So in Netflix, also there were other interesting movies. These days everyone are talking about Queen's Gambit. And of course, we have this in mind. And in 2021, I'm going to surprise you with many interesting live shows. But during 2020 that we are talking about now, I also had this pleasure to talk with Andromeda Godfrey. She was an actress in O Ramona movie. It was a comedy movie, and if you are interested in comedy genre, I would suggest you guys to join and watch that movie as well. And also Better Than Us TV series. If you're interested in sci-fi, as I mentioned, Infinity Chamber was very interesting for me. One of the best sci-fi movies I ever seen. The other one was Better Than Us, about humanoid robots. And Olga Lomonosova appeared in that movie. And TV series, and she was very good as usual. She was not well known in international community before Better Than Us, but in Russia, I'm sure most of people know her, and she's very good in TV series, in movies, and also she used to be a pro ballet dancer. So in Russian community, she's well known. I couldn't have a live show with her because she was not comfortable talking in English, but she was very kind enough to have a conversation with me and answer my question. And she was very kind to tolerate my broken Russian as well. So I could also share a video about this. If you are interested to know more about Olga, you can check it out. So Hot Pixel is asking, when do I have an interview for your movie, doctor? You mean my own movie? If that's the case, we should wait for a long time as it goes so slowly. So I think we should wait for a long time for that. And for other categories like music, we had lots of live shows with musicians, with singers, musicians, and it was also interesting for me to talk with them. And I don't know how much you're interested to have musicians on our live shows, but some of you who answered that question, it was positive. I hope that will remain the same in 2021. Yeah, so you were talking about my own movie. I don't know, 2021. Maybe at the end of it, or 2022, we will see. But these days I'm trying to promote those guys who are doing much better than me, because my movie, as Russians say, is kakashka. So for the time being, I'm avoiding to interview myself about my short movies. But my writing, I believe they are very good. And it's because I had 23,000 readers in Yahoo group, and I had so many positive feedback related to them. So that's why I have self-confidence when it comes to writing. But to make a short movie, that's a different story. So we will see, and for sure we will talk about it. So in music genre, we had live shows with many musicians and singers, also in different genre in music. Like in rap and hip hop, we had a talk with ODB from France, and she also considered herself Australian. So it was very fun. And we also talked about the cruise ship that she used to work in, and we talked about it in details. What about my new music? Yeah, My music, actually, you already listened to two of them in 2020, and I'm working on it. I don't know when will be the next one because this is not my main focus. But time to time, as you know, I compose the music myself. The genre at the moment is techno. So techno is pretty old-fashioned, but I don't know. I can't get rid of it. So that's my passion still, and I try to compose techno music time to time. And to have an interview and live show just about that, it will take time. Maybe 2022 again. That will happen. And of course, in other genre of music like rock and metal genre, we had so many live interviews. So many of our audience during 2020, they loved to have these interviews. That's why they were keep telling me to invite more, especially girls who are in metal. So this genre, I think they were very interested in. And whenever I had interview with female vocalist in metal music band, they were so excited about it. So I will try to even have more. Like, for example, I talked with Marky from Alia Tempora. If Marky will listen to this, see, I remembered your music band name. So yeah, Alia Tempora. And we talked with Lena Scissorhands from the music band Infected Rain. She has so many fans these days, and I received good feedback from that live show. Also, I talked with electric guitarist of Wasted String, Martina, from Slovakia. And she was such a lovely girl, and we had an interesting conversation together. It was fun. And also, I had this pleasure to talk with Violet and Thirsty in Sweden. That interview was also very fun and interesting. And I talked with Anna Chiara from the music band Imperial Edge in Russia. In Russia, if I'm not mistaken, I had also another one. I had an interesting conversation with Maria Turkmenbayeva. Actually, she's from Ukraine, but she talks in Russian. So all of our interviews, as you know, are in English though. And the interesting part about that is that in live shows, usually, for example, in late night shows, you see that the guests, they talk English very good. They are usually native speakers. But the good thing about these live shows was that I don't care, for example, if the person is an English speaker, or at least at some level, he or she can speak English. That's good enough. Even for me, as you can see, I have accent. I make so many grammar mistakes. So that's why when guests are talking to me, they are comfortable because they understand this is casual. So it was interesting that I could talk with people in English, which it was their first time having interview in English. Like, for example, Maria Turkmenbayeva, she never had an interview in English. So it's a pity that for such talents, international community doesn't know them. But she's, for example, very famous in Russia. She was in Quest Pistol Show, a music band. So many people in Russia, they know her. But in international community, not that much. So that's a pity. And that's what I'm trying to do also in my live show, to introduce you to international talents, to introduce interesting people around the world, not just talented people. In 2021, there will be hopefully more male interviews. So I actually received that comment time to time, and many people said that you interview female more than male. First of all, sorry to be straight, but beside that joke, if I want to seriously ask that, the reason is that I ask people, no matter what's their nationality, what's their gender, I don't care. But it happened to be that more females said yes. So in 2021, we will see, because I think I invited 50%, about 50%, maybe 40% male, 60% female. It just happened. But my interviews, maybe 25%, unfortunately, we just had males. But yeah, I will do my best to have more men in my interviews as well. But I keep inviting them. It's up to them as well. It takes two to tango, and it doesn't look good to tango with two men. But for some people it's interesting anyway. But your fans want you to focus on your new music. I don't know. Maybe not my writings anymore, just the music, but I will do my best. So far, the thing I think went well for me in 2020 was my interviews. And for my music, I didn't receive that much positive feedback, but I liked them myself. I enjoyed them. That's why I keep doing it, because I usually don't care how many people listen to my music. I started doing this since I was 16 years old in 2001. So I just compose music for my own sake. But if people listen to it, of course, I would be so happy. But I didn't receive that much positive feedback during 2020, unfortunately, as usual. And by the way, I talked with Belladonna Music Band. They were the first band I talked with in 2020. They are my good friends. And also I had this chance to be in one of their projects as a back vocal. It was a chant at the end of the song, so I could send my vocal file to them, and they fortunately consider it in their song. If you are interested to listen to their songs, of course you can check it in their Spotify and YouTube. And also I insert some of their music in my page as well, in my YouTube channel. We will send you several positive feedback. Thank you very much. Thank you for your kind words, also about my music. You should go on with writing, music making, and interviewing. Thank you very much, Nusha. Hopefully, yes, we will see. And thank you for your positive energy, guys. And I had also an interesting interview with Alice Lane, Alice, as they say in Italian, from Killing Baudelaire, or Baudelaire as the French say. So it was an interesting conversation as well. If you like, you can check it out. And Hot Pixel says, I followed them for ages. I think you're talking about music and writing. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure. I also had a conversation with Melissa from Mexico. She's also a talented vocalist. She's interested usually in rock music, if I'm not mistaken. And also I talked with Sarah from Dawn of Eternity music band. I become a big fan of this music band myself. They are doing great, from Nuremberg in Germany. Also, I talked with another one from the city named Sylvia. It's still very hard to pronounce her music band's name, but they are doing great. And Jennifer Borg from Australia. Jennifer Borg is very talented, and I had this pleasure also to talk with her. Divine Ascension is the name of her music band, so I really suggest you guys to check it out. She has such a nice voice. Could you talk about your new articles? Are you kidding me? Nobody wants to nobody wants to hear about them now. My articles would be so boring, of course, but as some of you know, I'm very interested in psychological systems, but I'm a mathematician and computer scientist. So I used these tools in order to simulate psychological systems. That's my main goal in my research. But also I'm doing research in bioinformatics, so biological systems are also involved. But I think it will be very boring for people to talk about these things. Maybe I will have a new story about it to ask you guys whether you're interested to hear about it. But I think more than 90% would say no to that. But thank you guys for saying this. Okay, so I hope I didn't miss any names. There are so many of them. So I hope I didn't miss any names in music genre. Also, I had this chance to talk with other teachers. So I mentioned about Dr. Farid Holakouee as a scientist. Also, I had a chance to talk with Masha from Easy Russian channel. Very lovely girl. She lives in the US now. She teaches English. Also, Jana from Ukraine. She also teaches Russian. And it was very interesting talking with these two teachers. And they have so many fans on YouTube, also on their Instagram. And they are very nice people because they are giving lessons for free. And both of them are such lovely people. And not only you want to learn Russian, you just can't stop watching them. You get addicted to them. So for those who are interested in learning Russian, I would suggest Masha from Easy Russian channel and Jana from Russian Up channel. Both of them are doing great. Also, I had this chance to talk with dancers and athletes. Let me check the comments first before we go through that category. Will you simulate the coronavirus by your mathematics and medical resources? Unfortunately, no. I'm not that much experienced working with viruses. I did research related to gene therapy or drug-based therapy, but I never dealt with viruses. The first time I was thinking about it, I was thinking about HIV and how to model it, and I understood it takes lots of time. Modeling it is not easy, but Corona is even worse because, of course, during the last year, many people worked on it very fast, but we don't have that much article about it so that I can model it perfectly. So it usually takes time for us for doing that. But for Corona, I'm not interested, to be honest, because soon we will get rid of it, hopefully. And nobody will be interested in Corona, not anytime soon. So will you simulate? And this one I answer. Still, your articles are more interesting. Thank you, Nusha, hopefully. And Danny, thank you very much for your kind comments. And Saba was also here. Thank you, Saba, also, for being here. And for athletes and dancers, as I mentioned, like Maria Turkmenbayeva that I mentioned, she's a good dancer as well. She's a pro dancer. ODB also, she's a pro dancer. And Natalie Avakian, who lives in the US, she's a mixed Mexican Armenian. And we talked about also these two cultures together, which was interesting. Also, I talked with Melissa about Mexican culture, which was very interesting as well. I talked with Shirin. Also, she's a good dancer, although she insists that we shouldn't call her a pro dancer, but she is. And she's a good podcast host. Also, she used to work in Manato TV. Many people in Persian community know her from Manato TV. And that's why we talked about many things, about her dancing, about her experiences. So it was very interesting conversation with Shirin. Don't miss that if you haven't watched it yet. And I talked with Yana Sizikova from WTA. WTA for Women Tennis Association. And it was very fun also talking with her. She's a pro tennis player. She appeared recently in French Open. And I try also to follow her tournaments, and whenever I see an interesting match, for sure I will share on my story. She was such a humble person, and I really enjoyed talking with her as well. I also talked with Tracy. She's an athlete. She's also interviewing celebrities for a long time. I just started this in the middle of July, and I'm not pro in this at all. As I always say, it is not my job, and I just do it for fun. But Tracy does it professionally, and I also enjoy watching her interviews with celebrities, or as you know, these days stars don't like to be called celebrities, so it's better to call them stars, and like movie stars. And yes, she had interviewed so many interview with them. We hope you will talk with Mansoor Bahrami in 2021. Yeah, I would really love that. But recently, Sina in his talk show had a good conversation with him. I usually try to have live shows with those guys who we didn't hear that much about their backstory, or maybe about the projects they are doing. Mansoor Bahrami recently had a good live show with Sina in what was the name of his programs? Chand Shanbe Ha ba Sina, something like that, in Persian language. But maybe the difference would be I can talk with him in English. I think his English is good. I know he talks French fluently, but if he agrees, why not? I would like also to talk with Mansoor Bahrami. He's not only a tennis player, a pro tennis player, he is also a comedian. So many people in tennis community knows Mansoor Bahrami just because of his funny act. So yeah, that would be lovely, because you know he's Persian and I'm a Persian, so it could be interesting to have this conversation. And we also had a conversation with Emerald van Lagen. I think still I don't pronounce her name correctly, but the thing is that I didn't have that much live shows with models. And in my previous question that I asked you guys, many of you asked for having interviews with models as well. So maybe I will try to have more of them in 2021. And if you would like them, then please let me know, so we will have even more. And Emerald was interesting because she's a tall model. So we talked about her challenges as a tall model, which was very interesting. So for you guys who are interested in this topic, you can also check that live. And in comedy genre, I mentioned about Nima and Tehran. It was very funny talking with these guys. Also, I had this pleasure talking with Clara Baden. Clara Baden these days, she's very famous in TikTok. And personally, I'm not active in TikTok. I don't follow anyone. Nobody follows me there. 0. But because usually I'm loyal to the platform that I'm working in. So I don't see, honestly, that much difference. Okay, there are some effects in TikTok, but I usually try to remain in the same place. I was loyal to Yahoo Groups for 20 years, and nobody else, I think, was active in Yahoo Groups anymore. But Yahoo Groups finally decided to deactivate the Yahoo Groups, and finally it got shut down in December, exactly December 2020. So after 20 years of memories, finally we said goodbye to Yahoo Groups. I hope such a thing won't happen to Instagram, because I want to be here for a long time. Hello everyone. Hi Giti. Hi everyone. Thanks for joining. And thanks for your comments. I see very positive comments. Thank you very much. You give me lots of energy for everything, for the interviews, for all the things I have done during 2020. Thank you very much. Sorry, I talked too much today. Usually I try to listen to my guest, but today I just keep talking as a monologue, and little by little, I think I need water or something, but we will see. I try to wrap it up in 10 minutes. And also, if you have any comments, please let me know. Beside all these categories, I also had this pleasure to talk with Behruz from Portune Talk Show. This talk show is very famous in Persian community. He's talking about relationships and about the taboos that usually we don't hear about them in such a society. So I had this pleasure to talk with Behruz. Don't miss that one as well. And I talked with identical twins, Sahar and Sanam. They were not comfortable talking in English, but I received positive feedback from you guys. So that made me think, maybe it's not just about the talents that we have around the world, about musicians, about movie stars. So maybe I can even talk with different people about a specific topic. For example, someone is interested in Harry Potter. Maybe we can talk about it together, because I received very positive feedback about such interviews. So let's see. We will maybe have more of them in 2021. I will do my best. Please invite Max Amini next year for sure. Yes, I invited him since July. I keep inviting him. And I hope someday he will say yes. Max Amini is very busy, as you know. Maz Jobrani, Max Amini, is very hard to find a common time so that we can have that interview. But I never give up, because I really love to have Maz Jobrani and Max Amini. And K1 also. K1, he actually said yes, and he will be in our live shows. But we don't know when. We are waiting for Corona to be over, because during Corona time, he's very busy. So I will for sure check with Maz and Max Amini again. And we had also that crazy eyebrow challenge, this one. And some of our guests couldn't do that. Some of them could do it partially. Some of them did it perfectly. Like, I was just looking at the recent video that I sent, and I think Yana Sizikova did it the best. But there were some other guys who did it as well. Like, for example, Simon Merles did it very well, because Marcus Crassus could do it also in a Spartacus very well. So I would expect that to happen. And many of them, Tehran did well. Comedians did very well. Now that I'm thinking, comedians did very well. Not Clara Baden that much, but comedians pretty much nailed it, and some of the athletes. Some of the dancers couldn't do that. It was surprising. But I want to have more games, not just Crazy Eyebrow for 2021. So if you guys have any suggestion about the games that we can play with our guests during the live show, because this is different from late night show. So please take it to the account that we have limited facilities. So if you have any suggestion, if you saw it somewhere else that they are doing it in their live shows, so please let me know, because I want to make our live shows even more interesting during 2021. Majid Chocolat, yeah. I don't know whether it is right to mention his name or not, but Majid Chocolat, or as we say in English, chocolate, can to that very well if you have an interview with him. Yeah, it's better I don't mention what you said in the comment about what you said about Majid Chocolate or Majid Chocolat. And by the way, it is his nickname because he's tanned, and I don't want to continue and mention who is this guy, but he's a nice guy anyway. And so about these updates that we will have in 2021, we will have more games in our live shows. As I said, please let me know if you have any comments about them or any suggestion. and many surprises I will have, because many of the stars said yes. We are waiting for the time to fix. So as soon as we fix the common time, we will have so many interesting live shows in 2021. And of course, I'm not going to reveal them. I want to surprise you. And for sure, you're going to love them. And thanks a lot for your comments, because they let me know what you are interested in, so that I will have more of them in 2021 as well. And this dog, I don't know what he said. And he gave a comment, but I didn't understand what he barked about. And so I also talked about, I think, the advantages that we have in our live shows, that for late night shows that you see usually on TV, they have actually a limited time to deal with that. Of course, they have facility. Of course, they can talk with superstars, but the thing is that their time is limited, because they get the budget for a specific amount of time. Like, for example, let's say 3 months. Then in 3 months, they should have a guest every week. It's not easy, guys. And that's why for them it's a challenge. And they cannot just ask someone random. And that's why it's very hard for late night shows to deal with that. Also, for podcasters, we could say the same thing. For the host of a podcast, they say, for example, episode 1, episode 2. Our live shows are too casual to consider ourselves as a show, or serious show, or a podcast. No. That's why it's very good for us, because this advantage that we have in this page is that sometimes I may have so many interviews in 2 weeks. Then for a month, we won't have any interview. So it depends on my time and the time of the guest. And this flexibility is something that I really enjoy in our live shows. And the other thing I wanted to say is that I don't receive any money from the guests, so that I don't advertise for anyone. If I say, for example, listen to this music or watch their movies, it's because I believe that this is interesting, or I enjoy them, and I want you to enjoy them too. It's not like advertising by receiving money, because I never received money from any of my guests. And I also didn't give them any money to be in my live show. This is a mutual understanding. And I'm really thankful to all of those guests who joined us. Sorry if I missed any of the names, because there were so many live shows. And all of them, they know how much I appreciate them, how much I enjoyed the time I spent with them during these live shows. Some of them became my friends. Some of them were my friends much before the interviews, and I would like really to thank those guys. If a TV program invites you, will you what? Will I participate? It really depends. For example, if guys from Instagram, for example, they invite me for their live show, of course, I would join them. And it depends, of course, on the topic, about their page. But I try to do the same, because my guests, they were stars, and they said yes to me without expecting anything from me. So who am I to say no to those pages? Of course, if there will be time, if there's a mutual understanding, I would love to be in those live shows. And if on TV shows they ask me, again, it depends on the TV, because, I don't want to be on a TV to bring me lots of problems in my personal life. Because, for example, in my live shows, everything is related to entertainment industry or interesting people. I don't want to go through the topics which are untouchable, or if they are touchable, they are bringing problems to you. So I avoid them. And there's a reason for that, which I try to explain maybe someday later. I don't know when it will happen finally for me that I can talk about anything that I want. But at least in entertainment industry, I can do that, and that's what I'm doing. So if they invite me to TV shows, which are just about entertainment, of course, with pleasure, I would accept. But who wants to invite me for entertainment? I don't know. I didn't do that much significant things in entertainment industry. Of course, I had so many readers for my writings. Of course, for example, so many listen to my music, but few of them say, for example, I'm looking forward to, for example, listen to your next music. So I don't know. We will see. If they will invite, then we will talk about it. And Bita, thank you for joining. Merci. And I would like to say Happy New Year to all of you guys in advance. I hope that 2021 will be a good one, because 2020, you know how it was. So I hope at least it will be better. So if you guys have anything to add, I will also read them and answer them. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next live shows. I usually prevent to have solo shows because it will be boring just me talking, you know. That's why I try to have guests, so that I also enjoy the live show. I learn new things, so it would be interesting. For talent show, no way. No, I won't attend any talent show. That I can say for sure. You know, I usually try to, for example, I try new things in different genre, like playing guitar, for example, recently during the last year, I started bass guitar because of one of our guests, Alice, from Killing Baudelaire music band. And before that, for so many years, I was playing electric guitar, but I challenged myself by playing bass guitar, which I'm addicted. Every day I'm playing with it. So yes, I really enjoy trying new things, and but I'm not trying to be the best in them, because in science somehow I'm doing it. I have some achievements, we could say, in science. In entertainment industry, I'm pretty much relaxed. I try to just do things I enjoy. I don't care about their outcome. I don't care about how many people, for example, would say this is perfect or this is great. We are your fans because of your music. Of course, it's enjoyable, but I mean, this is not my goal. And that's what makes arts, I think, that you should do it from your heart. So whenever I use my brain, I usually use it for science. Whenever I use my heart, I use it for art. And of course, there are some intersection between them time to time, because, I don't want to go through the details related to that. It could be another topic for 15 minutes. But yes, it has some intersection as well. Thank you, Nusha, for saying that I have so many talents. I didn't say I don't have so many talents. I said I don't want to be the best in each of them. That's why that's the case usually. But thank you very much for your kind words. Thank you for mentioning that I'm a pro tennis player. This is not true. I'm good at playing tennis, but I'm not a pro tennis player. Pro tennis player is someone like Yana Sizikova. And the thing is that for my live shows, and I invite those who are much better than me. So if I know, for example, there's a tennis player who is not playing better than me, so of course I'm not going to invite him or her to live shows, because I want to also learn something from that person as well. I want to make it interesting for myself as well. But thanks a lot for mentioning that I'm a pro tennis player, which is not true. And you say it's true, no? No, it's not true. Thank you for your kind words. And as I said, the thing which I'm very excited about during 2021, which will be different from the live shows that I had in 2020, was the fact that I'm going to interview not only with the stars, with people who are interested in an interesting topic. It could be, as I said, like Harry Potter. Many people are interested in such topics. Anything. So wait for them. You will be surprised also with very interesting topics. Of course, I'm also busy. Teachers are so busy during Corona time. So beside nurses and also doctors in hospitals, teachers, they are very busy during Corona. That's why I do my best. I can't say like every week I have a live show, but I do my best to have as much as possible, as much as time allows, and as much as my guests want to participate. And I would like to thank all of you guys for joining me today. Sorry for talking too much. I think nobody will watch it from the beginning to the end, but anyway, I wanted to do this after a long time because 2 days later will be the New Year. I wanted to wish you a happy New Year in advance, and maybe my next live show will be exactly this time next year. So I won't just keep talking in monologue. So don't worry about that this is going to be a usual thing now. I will have interesting guests, hopefully. And especially I want to thank those guys who joined me today. And I would like to thank all my guests during the live shows that made it possible for me in 2020. And I am looking forward to the live shows that we will have in 2021. And I hope you guys will join those ones as well. I talked too much. I really need to be refreshed after 1 hour. So see you guys. Thank you very much for joining me today. And if you guys missed that, you can also watch it on my Instagram page for sure. I will see you guys on next live shows with our interesting guests. Thank you guys. Thank you, Danny, Nusha, Saba, Giti, everyone who joined us and watched us today live. See you. Bye-bye. Paka. Adios. And до свидания in a formal way of Russian says. And in other languages, I don't want to keep talking. I'm already tired. So we are always with you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your support. Sayonara. Adio. Bye-bye. See you. Bye-bye. Chaka. Which language is that? Chaka. I don't know which language is that. Paka. Yes, it's Russian. Chaka. I never heard about that one. Yes. See you guys. Have a nice day. Khodafez in Persian. Khodafez. Bye-bye. Gula. Khodafez. Bye-bye.